Hello, beautiful souls. I am back. Today, we're going to talk about the upcoming new moon in the sign of Cancer that is going to happen on the 28th of June and 29th, depending where you are in the time zone. And today, I'm also celebrating Pride. It's Pride weekend here in San Francisco, one of my favorite weekends here in the city. And I just wanted to honor and celebrate the love, because love is love. No matter who you love is love. And I really admire those that have the courage to be authentic and to be themselves and to go against all patterns and standards of society and just be themselves. It's just such an inspiring energy. And so today we're going to talk about 5 things that you need to know about this upcoming new moon in Cancer. And as usual, I will give you some exercises in the end that you can do to ritualize this practice, to harvest this energy, and to set your intentions, because new moon is all about intentions. So if you're interested in learning about that, stay with me and let's go. Hello, beautiful people, beautiful souls. It's so nice to have you guys back here in my channel. If you've been here before, if you haven't been here before, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Anna, and in this channel I talk about astrology, and especially the astrology that surrounds events like the new moon and the full moon, and how we can best leverage those energies so that we use those energies to help us heal, help us grow, help us live more in a purposeful life. And today I'm here to talk to you guys about the new moon in the sign of Cancer that's coming up on June 28th of 2022, or in my case, June 29th, because it happens at 2 a.m. on June 29th here in California. But don't worry about the times. This energy will last one day before, one day after. So starting Monday on the 27th, until Wednesday the 29th, even the 29th at night, you are going to be able to harvest this energy and feel this energy more strongly. The first thing I want you to know about this new moon is that it's happening in the sign of Cancer at 7 degrees. So you're going to look at your birth chart. If you want to know where this energy is actually, which part of your life is this energy is affecting the most, you're going to look at where 7 degrees of Cancer is in your birth chart. I have taught you guys that before. If you don't know how to do it, Google it. It's very easy to find out. And depending on which house that 7 degrees of Cancer is in your birth chart, is going to be the area of your life. It may be relationships, or maybe it's work, or maybe it's home, right? But other than that, let's talk about in a general way what these energies are like. So first and foremost that we need to remember is that new moons are a time to plant seeds. In new moons, we set intentions. In full moons, we let go, right? So it's the beginning of the cycle. It's the beginning of the Cancer season, which actually began on not January, oh my god, I'm crazy. On June 21st of 2022, we had the summer solstice. Hope you guys celebrated this beautiful energy of new beginnings, new summer, new amazing things happening for us. And it was also when the sun entered the sign of Cancer. So happy birthday to all the Cancers out there. And right now, the moon has caught up with the sun, so they're together at 7 degrees of Cancer. And when that happens, we have a moon that doesn't show because they're together. So they set together and they rise together. So we don't really see the moon during these days of new moon. But we have beautiful skies with lots of stars, because now the moon is not overcasting on the stars, right? So anyway, not to derail, let's go back to what we wanted to talk about. So the first thing that I want you guys to know about this new moon is that it's in the sign of Cancer, and Cancer rules emotions. Cancer is a water sign, so it's all about the feels, all about emotions. And Cancer also is a cardinal sign, so it's a sign that takes action on those emotions, which can make it a quite dramatic sign if it goes towards the shadow aspect of it. But it's a sign that's very in touch with their own emotions. It's also a sign that rules the past and nostalgia and how we feel about our childhood, right? It rules our childhood. It rules our inner child as well. And is also known as the big divine mother sign. So we have Cancer being also ruled by the moon, and the moon is known to be the mom, the mother. And being the moon being in its own sign is just gonna make it even more emotional, even more new beginnings regarding those emotions. And it can feel quite like a full moon, actually, because there's other aspects happening right now that I'm going to tell you about that makes this moon extra emotional, extra impulsive, and it can have that full moon vibes, right? But it is a new moon. It is a new moon in the sign of Cancer. So let's talk a little bit about Cancer. Cancer is very intuitive. It's a sign that likes to sit with their own emotions and likes to take care of others. But here's what lies the problem. You may feel like you want to take care of everybody. You want to be more nurturer. It can be even a little bit more codependent if you think about it. And it's very important when you're giving so much love, when you're nurturing so much, to be your own nurturer, to be your own mother. And it's very important right now that we mother ourselves, that we sit with our emotions, that we journal. A lot of things are going to become clear because the sun is with the moon, helping shine light on what aligns with our mind, the sun, and the moon. So when we have new moons, we have an extra clarity to know what we want, because we have the mind that's represented by the sun, the conscious mind, together with the subconscious mind, with the emotions. So you have heart and mind working together to decide what you want to focus on for this upcoming cycle, right? So right now, what we really need to do is nurture ourselves and fill our own love cup first. And remember, you are love. And later on, you are able to give to others. And it's also you're going to feel a lot of emotions around your own feelings and maybe not being validated by others. And I want you to sit with your own feelings and understand, how can I nurture myself? How can I do some self-love activities? So I want your intentions to be around this self-love, family, home, because Cancer also rules the fourth house, which is the house of home, where we feel most at home. Doesn't mean necessarily a house or family in the biological sense. It can be also around your close friends. So it's a really good time to throw dinner parties with your close ones, to be with family, but also don't forget to be with yourself, because that's when you're really going to be able to harvest that intuition and harvest your inner self and get really in touch with your emotions and what your emotions are trying to tell you right now. I've been trying to really get in touch with my inner child lately and nurture it. Like, that's why I'm dressed up the way I am, because I love dressing up. So I want to encourage you guys right now to do something that your inner child would love. And by fulfilling your own cup, by loving yourself, by doing all these activities that will really nurture your inner child, you're going to be able to give so much more love, because we can't love if we don't love ourselves. Even as cliche as the sound, it's the absolute truth. So, the second thing you should know about this upcoming new moon in the sign of Cancer of 2022 is that it will have an exact conjunction. So the new moon is exact, and the sun, because they're together, they're conjunct. They're going to be together with Black Moon Lilith. Oh my God, Anna, what's Black Moon Lilith? Are we doomed? No, let's talk about Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith in the mythology talks about Lilith, who used to be in paradise with Adam, and she actually did not really like how Adam was treating her. She didn't feel like it was an equal partnership, and she was oppressed and suppressed, had suppressed emotions, and she was kicked out of paradise so that Eve could come, right? So that's the mythology. But how does that relate to the asteroid? So Black Moon Lilith speaks about sexuality. It speaks about feminine aspects. It speaks about being empowered and defending the underdog, because Black Moon Lilith talks about our rebel side. What is the side that we get triggered? What are those topics that trigger us because we've been oppressed, because we've been suppressed, So when you combine this new moon with Black Moon Lilith and the fact that it's in the sign of Cancer, it could bring a lot of rebel energy. It could bring a lot of aggression, and it could bring a lot of strength to really heal our wounds, to heal our past wounds, times that we have been oppressed. And we may even have more clarity about our suppressed emotions that maybe we suppressed ourselves, maybe feel oppressed by society. And that's going to be an extra energy and extra power for us to heal ourselves and heal our emotions. So it's really going to help us to use that rebellious energy to move forward, to move ahead, and to not depend so much on the validation of others, because Black Moon Lilith doesn't care. Black Moon Lilith doesn't care if others validate what she's feeling. She's feeling it, and she knows she's feeling it. So it's going to help us to not be too judgmental about ourselves and about what we feel. And actually, instead of just accepting our wounds, it will help us to embrace those wounds and embrace that, our triggers and our past make us who we are. And if we love ourselves, we will love unconditionally ourselves, right? Unconditional love is very related to Cancer, because Cancer is the mother, and the mother, loves your child unconditionally. And that's how we should love ourselves. And Black Moon Lilith is here to make us empowered and fight for those rights. It's actually super interesting to me that, not to get too political about things, but we all know what's happening in the United States regarding abortion rights. And on actually June 28th, which is the new moon, we're going to have a final decision about some states that are going to make it illegal, which is very disappointing to me, but I'm not going to get into that. This is not the point of this video. But I just think it's a very interesting date for that to be happening, because we have mothering issues, fertility, the divine mother in the sign of Cancer, new moon, new beginnings, conjuncting Black Moon Lilith, which talks about being oppressed because you're a woman, being oppressed regarding sexuality, regarding fertility. And I just think we're not going to be quiet about it. And we're going to fight back and just watch. Just watch, because it's going to get a little crazy. But anyway, coming back to us, Black Moon Lilith is here to really help us to feel empowered, to fight for what matters to us, and to know that our feelings are valid even if someone else is not validating them. And we need to be our own mother, our own nurturer. And it's just reinforcing what I said already on the first thing you need to know about this new moon. The third thing you should know about this new moon in the sign of Cancer is that we're going to have Jupiter, which is in Mars right now, and it's the expansion planet. It makes everything bigger. It's the biggest planet, right? So it makes everything more abundant, bigger. It's also good fortune, but it's in the sign of Aries, who's the warrior, the one that cares about the I am and rules the first house. So it's a sign very focused on the self and really loving who you are, right? And not waiting for validation from anybody. And because it's in a square, it's a very conflicting or challenging aspect for astrology to have it like that, because it's through that tension that we're going to have our biggest learning. So we should be careful not to be too caught up in our emotions and be too impulsive, and know that emotions are not reality. Emotions don't last forever, and emotions are not a good time for us. When we're feeling too emotional, it's not a good time for us to be impulsive and take action on it. So we're going to have that tension, because Jupiter wants us to take action. It's in Aries, wants new beginnings, wants to act on all the feels that you're having right now with the new moon, but you have to have a balance. So knowing that this energy is there, you can be careful, extra careful to not have impulsive decisions, but also harvest this energy of Jupiter to actually do the things that you truly care about. Not what others care about, but what you care about. The things that you resonated, that you journal, that you're like, okay, this is what I need. These are my needs. And I don't care if no one else is validating it. These are my needs, and I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to validate myself, and I'm going to give myself those needs, and I'm going to nurture my inner child, and I'm going to believe in myself, because this energy of Jupiter in Aries is a very self-confident energy. So let's use this energy to believe that our feelings matter, our feelings are valid, regardless of external approval, and let's turn inwards and harvest more the energy of the new moon and not so much of the external world to really understand what matters to us. The fourth thing I want you guys to know about this new moon in Cancer is that we are going to have Neptune going retrograde, joining Pluto, which is already retrograde, and Saturn, that is already retrograde. Now we have Neptune going retrograde on that same day, on June 28th, with the new moon, which is going to help us have some reality checks. What is retrograde? Let's go back a little bit. Retrograde means that from the perspective of the Earth, that planet is going back on the signs, right? On the degrees. It's not really going back. It's just an illusion, optical illusion from Earth. But because we're on Earth, that's how we know these energies affect us. And when we have a planet retrograde, any planet, we're going to have to take a deeper look in the aspects and themes that planet brings. Right now we have Neptune retrograde. It's in the sign of Pisces, so it's its ruler sign. It's a sign of emotion, it's a sign of dreams, of the subconscious, of the utopian desires of humanity and the collective. It's the most compassionate sign, right, Pisces? So Neptune is very deep into the spiritual world, into the subconscious, into the dreamland, fantasies. And because it's retrograde, it's going to help us have reality checks and see what from these emotions that Cancer is bringing, what is real and what is just something I made up in my head, or some emotion that it's not really there. Am I identifying the right emotions, and like how long should I stay in those, right? Because it's going to really give us a reality check regarding all these topics, and it's really going to help us to gain clarity regarding the new moon energies and what we should be our intentions. Because once we're out of the dream world, once we're seeing things without the rose-colored glasses, then we're able to have more focus on what should really be our intentions and what feelings we're really dealing with, and what about those feelings are coming maybe from a past wound self, or my inner child that hasn't been fulfilled, or I haven't been doing a lot of self-care activities, and that's why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. So it's really going to help us to have this eye-opening regarding hidden emotions maybe that we weren't aware that we had, or maybe patterns that we thought we had already healed and we haven't. And Neptune is just really helping us to find out new ways of approaching our feelings and approaching our relationships. So make sure that if something happens, if you have a reality check, you have this bigger perspective that this is just Neptune opening your eyes and taking those rose-colored glasses so we can see the reality and work better with both the 3D world and the 5D, right? So both conscious world, material world, and our spiritual and subconscious mind. The fifth and last thing I want you guys to know about this new moon is that we're gonna have Mars right after the new moon. We're gonna have Mars almost squaring Pluto, and Mars is also in the sign of Aries right now. It rules Aries, and it's our warrior, aggressive planet. Is the planet that makes us fight for what we believe in. And so that could be actually a little bit overwhelming, because Pluto is the planet of transformations and death and rebirth. And since it's going to be squaring Mars, it could bring an energy of making us see more of our shadows and be more self-critical, but also make us engage in more power struggles, because Pluto rules the power, and like power of others, power over the self, trying to be controlling of your own life. So this is more like a warning that you could have a little bit of a more conflict oriented with all these emotions, right, coming up. You could engage more. Oh my god, did you guys hear that? Something happened upstairs. So you could have more potential for these power struggles. So I want you to pick your battles and just focus on what really matters to you. Go internally, think before you act, sleep on it, and don't let this energy from Mars squaring Pluto make you too aggressive and forget about what truly matters, which is your internal validation, your own cup, your child being nurtured, because then when that is done, you won't even feel as much triggered for these power struggles. Let's talk about rituals. What can you be doing in this new moon? So as we know, new moons are a time to set intentions. So we're going to work with setting intentions of self-care, self-nurturing, and self-love. The first thing you're going to do is clear up the space, clear up your home, use some sage, incense, use some Palo Santo, right? Cancer rules the home, so it's important that you feel in a very comfortable place at home. So clear that. That's the first thing you're going to do. Second thing I want you to do is to write a letter to your inner child. So we're going to write a love letter. Why you love them so much? What makes them special? What are things that you forgive them? So think of a love letter, very romantic letter, and write to that child. And if you want some inspiration, you could look at some old videos of yourself when you were a child, if you have the opportunity to. I have some birthdays that I like going back to when I was 6 and 5, and it's just so amazing to watch myself and be like, wow, I am that person. That person is inside me, and that child deserves so much love, and her feelings deserves to be validated, right? So you're going to write a letter to yourself, to your inner child. And you can write that on your journal and keep it there, or you can make it like a very pretty letter, like a very romantic letter, and keep it maybe until the full moon when you can burn. We're going to have a full moon in Capricorn, and maybe it's a good time to burn and just put that energy out in the universe. But it's very important that you write. So you're going to write a letter to your inner child. Third thing you're going to do is some mirror meditation. What is a mirror meditation? You're going to take a mirror and you're going to look at yourself in the mirror. And you're really just going to look and meditate on your eyes, on your soul. Try to really see where that inner child is and recognize yourself and fall in love with yourself. Really look at all your perfections, imperfections. Really gaze into your eyes. And it can be incredibly powerful to do something like that. And if you feel uncomfortable, try to see what this discomfort is telling you. You're uncomfortable at looking your own eyes. What is that telling you, right? Really fall in love with yourself. Fourth thing you're going to do is you're going to take yourself on a date. You're going to plan a very romantic date of what your idea of romantic is, or what your idea of a perfect date is, and you're going to take yourself, only yourself, on that date. Even if you're in a relationship, even if you have tons of friends and family you want to be with, which is a great thing to do during this new moon as well, to be with family, be with friends, but it's important that you do this one activity. Take you on your date, yourself on a date, and after the date, reflect on the date. What was the good things about it? What made you laugh? What was your favorite moment? What was something that you didn't really like, or some thoughts you had about yourself? Like, were you critical of yourself? And most importantly, after you've done all the thinking about that date, think about, do you deserve a second date? Is this someone you would give a second chance? And if not, why not? And work with those feelings and journal about it. Once you've done all the meditation, once you've done the mirror gazing, once you've written the letter, right, to yourself, it's time to set your intentions. And your intentions for this new moon should be all about self-care and self-nurturing. And you're going to write 10 things. I know it seems like a lot, but it's not really. 10 things that you can do to be more loving and more supportive and more nurturing to yourself. What are these things that are going to nourish your mind, your body, and your soul? All of those things are valid and also fun. What are the things that your inner child are going to have fun with? And you're going to make a commitment with yourself, with your inner child, to do those things in the upcoming Cancer cycle. And you're going to write in a piece of paper all those things, and you're going to put in water. You can rip it apart so the water gets into it better. You're going to put in a bowl, and you're going to leave it overnight under the moon, because even though you don't see the moon is there. And that's your communication with the moon. You're going to ask for help from our divine mother moon to help you keep disciplined about really honoring yourself and honor your self-love and really filling your cup so you can give all the love back to those that you want to give it to. But first, yourself first, always. And again, you're going to do moon water. You can do moon water again. You can put a jar outside, or a glass, a jar, not a jar, a bottle, a glass bottle. Don't use plastic. And write words on what you want to bring, especially around self-love, self-nurturing, forgiveness of oneself and others, right? Because in order to forgive others, you have to forgive yourself also. And asking for clarity from this new moon for you to know what emotions you should maybe let go of. Even though it's a new moon, we should also think about what emotions are keeping us stuck. And you're gonna write that around the water bottle and leave it over at night under the moon, and take it back in before the sun is strong and the energy of the sun is hitting it. Use this moon also to charge your crystals, to do a card reading. A card reading you can do is actually, you can just do one card this time instead of 3. Just take one card and ask for advice from the moon. Actually, I'm gonna do that right now. I have this postcards from Spirit, and I'm gonna ask my ancestors, because Cancer rules ancestrality, to give us a message for this upcoming new moon. So angels and archangels, please give us an advice for those that are out there on the other side on what we should do on this new moon. What we should do on this new moon. Any message from our ancestors. Any message from our ancestors. All right. Here is the card for you guys. Dearest you, do you know how much we love you and want to help you? We're here for you, and we hear you ask for guidance, but you must let go and let us help you. You don't have to do it all. You've done your part, now let us do ours. You would be awestruck if you knew how many strings were pulled through the matrix to give you what you need and desire. Spirit has a plan. And when you sign up to be a co-creator, you need to remember to allow the partnership. It's not one-sided. Your desires and plans meet up with those of Spirit. Remember though, Spirit's timetable and ideas of how things will play out may be quite different from yours. Trust us, Spirit's ideas are amazing. Now let go and let us do the magic. Pay attention to other areas of your life, and before you know, a miracle will have taken place. We love you so much. So that's the message for you guys today. To surrender, right? Surrender to the universe that, you're not alone, but it is important to not get overwhelmed by your emotions, to give yourself some of that love and nurture yourself. I stay here with this. Please like and subscribe if you liked this content, and I'll see you guys soon. Happy new moon in Cancer, and I'll be back here for the full moon in Capricorn. Bye.